Let me ask you a question. Are you a snowflake? That's right. Are you a snowflake? Well, that's usually not a very good thing to be today. In fact, it's not a good thing to be at all. However, think about this. Remember the old saying, and I don't know if it's true or not, but that every snowflake is unique? They're all different. Well, could it be that in some ways you're like a snowflake, that you are uniquely different? And if you are, what does that mean? What should you do about it? Is there something you should know about your uniqueness? And could it be that you yourself have a unique and powerful design? And unfortunately, you've never used that power. You've never gained that strength. You've never made your mark because you really just don't know who you are. Well, if that could be you, we've got some good news, because on this Friday Future Day, we can help you. I'm Stan Houston, and the program is called Ideas, Influence, Impact, and Income. It's the Creator Entrepreneur Podcast, and the program starts right now. Yes, I'm back. This is Stan Houston with a Future Friday edition of our new program called the Creator Entrepreneur Podcast. And as I have been saying for some time, and it starts today, in the future, hopefully every Friday, the program is going to be from you. Now, I didn't necessarily say it would be about you. We're not going to necessarily interview you. We may have a conversation with you. But more than that, we'd like to hear some of your stories and share some of your wisdom. Perhaps give us a new insight about life and how to influence other people and ourselves for good. And perhaps discover that rare quality in life today, real, important truth. And that could be part of the income that can come to us all. So, one of the first persons to raise their hand and say, Stan, I want to be on the program, and he's here today. We had a little conversation just a day or two ago, and he's a long ways away from here in Arizona. He's up in the cold of Minnesota, and he had some thoughts that I think will be particularly appropriate for this new year that is coming. And have we ever looked forward to a new year with more anticipation than this 2021? Oh my goodness. Hopefully it will not be anything like 2020. And there's some good news in the news today. The first vaccine is coming out, and perhaps that will be helpful to us. So, David McKnight is our man of the day, and he's got something to say. So, David, it's your turn in your town, and you're on.
Thank you, Stan. What I'd like to share today is something that I have been looking at and working on for 30-plus years. And it's looking at people uniquely, looking at the power of their design, what their unique value is. And so I want to just walk through some of that and what it might look like today. So why does a person who is useless in one emergency perform heroically in another, or even one more threatening? It's because we instinctively shape a job around what we do naturally to us, around that which draws on our natural abilities. A person's pattern of giftedness emerges in early childhood and remains fundamentally the same throughout their life. Its essential content, structure, and dynamics. So question, why are 7 out of 10 teachers, managers, ministers, sales representatives, in short, 7 out of 10 people, neither motivated nor competent to perform the basics of their job? Why can't 50 to 80% of all workers use their talents on their job? Why don't people pursue the life and career for which they are eminently suited? Why is school such a drag and so ineffective for most students? Why don't people concentrate on what they do best? Why do so many millions of Americans spend their working lives in what bores them, stresses them, and fills them with self-hatred? I think the key to that problem is simply the myth of becoming, the mistaken notion that we can become anything we want to be. The behavior that manifested itself in early childhood are literally precursors of what is to come in their adult life. The idea that we can become what the world values is as misguided as the alchemist's ancient promise to transmute lead into gold. For the test to be of value, finding out your giftedness, it must describe your unique being and accurately capture how you behave, how you learn, how you reason, how you decide, how you act, and what motivates you. The surest way to unlock the essence of a person is to look at what his or her likes to do, what they like to do, and what they do well. We function according to our giftedness. The work almost does not seem like work. It's more like fun. Incredible reservoirs of energy are released when we operate within our giftedness. Because it's like breathing. Every person has used their giftedness throughout their years, be they many or few. Your personal agenda will be driven by your unique design. There is no escape from being who you are. In addition, why should we ever want to be so? Giftedness is more than an inventory of talent. It's the lifeblood of a person. It's the song in their heart that they long to sing. It's the race that their legs long to run. In many people, gifts have been virtually unrecognized and underutilized for years or even a lifetime through everyone's lives. No matter how impoverished, sterile, dysfunctional, depressive, or even abusive the conditions, people can remember at least a handful of satisfying achievements or experiences despite the sadness of their early life. Giftedness expresses itself in achievements rather than successes, and in activities rather than experiences. Data shows that whenever a person does something he or she enjoys doing and does well, the individual invariably reverts to the same pattern of function, a unique pattern that is like that individual's signature. The design is a system. It is systematic. An individual human being is a system, unified, integrated completely. Your design must be seen as a whole. When your design is uncovered, it is not writing a new tune for you to sing, but capturing the tune that you are already singing and have been singing throughout your life. The motivated abilities of your design often stand out not because of what they accomplish, but because they accomplish so much with so little. Our design determines how we perceive our world, acquire and assimilate knowledge, evaluate the soundness or rightness of things, conceive and develop new ideas, organize and plan activities, take action, inform and influence other people. The hallmark of motivating subjects is passion. People become passionate about a subject matter that designs their design. It engages them. One of the most frequently asked questions by employers and managers today is, how can I motivate my people? They are asking what it takes to get people started, to get them off the dime, as the saying goes. Often in the same breath, the manager will add, I'm looking for go-getters, people who can see the need and then meet it. However, that betrays a fundamental misunderstanding of how people are motivated. Some people are self-starters. They do well in situations where no one can or will give directions, and they do not need any. However, many people require someone else to get them started. That is not a weakness, That's a request for leadership. A person who does not respond may not be indifferent at all, just unmotivated. There's a vast difference there. When people stop putting their all into a task or activity, it is usually not a matter of character, but one of motivation. If you want to manage your life a bit more effectively, find out why and when you run out of motivational gas. Every person requires particular conditions for their giftedness to thrive. What are those conditions? Where do you do your best work? Some people must have recognition, while others generally do better behind the scenes. Some people seek out situations where something must be done that they have never done before. Others require the known in order to function. Climb as high as you can is the philosophy that not only ruins lives and careers, but is equally destructive of corporate health and profitability. Motivational payoff is the singular characteristic outcome a person seeks in order to feel some sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Motivational payoff is not just self-seeking pleasure for the sake of having a good time. It's the pleasure of living with and for a purpose. Never assume that people share the same activity. They all share the same desired outcome. To accept knowingly and willingly a position that requires someone driven by purpose that is not out driving purpose shows a total lack of integrity. No one yet knows with certainty all that is hardwired in newborns. So people appear to possess their giftedness from the womb. This conclusion seems likely based on growing knowledge we have today about human development. Evidence does not support the popular myth that who people are is primarily a function of the environment in which they grow up. Parents cannot shape a child into whatever mold they want. They may scold her 100 times for getting in the mud, but what causes her to keep seeking the mud in the first place? When a child establishes distinctive patterns of behavior, he or she will not easily depart from it. I'm not saying that children do not change. One morning, Timmy demands sugar and cinnamon on his toast. The next morning, he insists on jelly. And the next morning, he absolutely will not have any toast at all. Erratic behavior, you might say? Only to the mother. For Timmy, it's 3 mornings in a row of exercising a budding proclivity to be in charge. Despite sometimes drastic changes of people's experiences and circumstances, education, values, philosophy, or beliefs, but the elements of giftedness will always remain stable. The builder builds. The entrepreneur starts new enterprises. The comprehender keeps learning. The refiner keeps improving. All that really changes is the maturity of the functioning as the person develops through those more complex and demanding achievements experiences. However, essential nature of giftedness remains constant. People express their giftedness for the same reason that hawks keep flying and whales keep spouting and beavers keep damming up streams. It's their nature. They know no other. Our designs are irrepressible. Have you ever tried to keep a half a dozen ping pong balls underwater? Our design explains what it is we do not do. Our design seeks self-expression. There are literally millions and upon millions of us who only some of our giftedness on the job, use it on the job. And then they seek other outlets for our talents. We see life in terms of what has meaning for us. That is, we actually interpret reality in a way that suits our motivational makeup. Perception and motivation go hand in hand. It is crucial to understand in the workplace. An employer or a supervisor may define a task in terms of a job description and set performance expectations. However, the employee will look at the job through the lens of his or her design and perform according to that pattern. He will bend the job to match his design rather than the job description. He's motivated to innovate, he will innovate. To control, he will set up control. To overcome, he will find something to overcome. To build relationships, he will seek them out. To pioneer, he will expand the boundaries. To be perfect, he will look for the rough edges. The worker will try to do his or her way, the way in which he or she naturally perceives the task. She will meet the requirements of a job description only insofar as they match her pattern or design. Our design colors our emotion. Emotions, reactions are often traceable to that design. For instance, joy. Joy is one of the most striking emotional ties to our design. Joy, a sense of meaningfulness, are the telltale signs of gifted activity. Indeed, without in any way discounting the intense emotional pain that racks so many people, I feel certain that many of their troubles would lighten if their giftedness were more engaged. There's a quote that I want to share from a gentleman by the name of Arthur Miller, and I think it kind of states the dilemma that many people today find themselves in. Most people are educated for 12 to 15 years, tested, graded, counseled, and on numerous occasions interviewed for a number of jobs, hired, and then placed in a job, rewarded, punished, encouraged, trained, praised, motivated, promoted, coached, reinforced, directed, utilized, harnessed to objectives, subjected to job enrichment, sensitivity training, assessment centers, and sent back to school, repelling and other character-building exercises, plugged into equality circles, cross-functional teams, leaderless teams, and finally retired after 50 years later without anybody at any time finding out what they are really good at and motivated to do. Your design, your uniqueness is of great value. Take the time to understand who you are. It will pay off great dividends. There's a passage in the Bible that says, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Know who you are. Know who you are. That's the problem we have so often not looked at. I'll close by just saying that I did work in a prison with prisoners, men who were incarcerated. And we took the time to talk to them and come to an understanding of what their uniqueness was. And so many of them found that they had a gift, but no one ever shared it with them. No one ever told them that it was a gift. They just kept doing it. And what happened? They got compulsive. They did more of it. They did it in the wrong places at the wrong time with the wrong people. And they discovered it sent them to a place like prison. Talking to the people who run the prison, they said 90% of the men in this prison, they're leaders. But no one ever told them how to lead, how to use their lead in a possible management way, how to take care and do the right thing. You've got a unique value. Just take the time to discover what that is. You've got stories in your life. You've got achievements that will give a definite expression of what you like to do, when you like to do it, and what it is you do, and what happens when you do it. The power of design. It's yours to take.
It's ours to take. David, that was great. And I'm just going to close by simply saying, hey, as we go into 2021, COVID has caused us to look at our lives. And this is a very, very good way and a good place to start. Thank you, David. This has been great.
Good.
Well, David, if people would like to start this adventure, just tell them how they could reach out to you and perhaps begin to do that, because let me tell you this is the podcast you should go back and listen to at least 3 more times. And guess what? You'll learn more here by accident than most places by design. So, David, tell them how to reach out to you. I
have a website. It's McKnightLeadership.com. an email that's dfmcknight@gmail.com, and a phone number at 612-990-6604. I'll be happy to talk with you.
Very good. Thank you so very much, David. We're glad you made it here for the Creator Entrepreneur Podcast. Indeed, ways, ideas, influence, impact, and good income will come into your life. Thank you. Thank you, David. And boy, is that something to think about. Maybe that something is that you have a unique snowflake strength, power, something that the world desperately needs right now. And I guarantee you that the world does need men and women who know who they are. They know how God has designed them, and they are determined to live out the power and the purpose behind that design. So thank you, David, very, very much for doing just that and helping us today.